Hello and welcome to another very exciting and insightful episode of Cooking and Gisting with Grace Renner. Now, once again, let me tell you how Cooking and Gisting with Grace Renner came about. Okay, so I'm a marriage counselor, so from time to time I get asked lots of questions in my DM, ranging from love-related issues to marriage, to relationships, to family, to parenting, to spirituality, and I love answering these questions. Then again, I also love cooking. Like, I'm a chef and cooking is something that I do as a hobby. Okay, so I thought to combine counseling and cooking. So feel free to send me your questions via my DM or via WhatsApp, anyone that works for you. Let me read the question first, then I introduce you to my ingredients. Okay, now someone is asking, how do I differentiate between complaining and expressing my displeasure? That's an interesting question. I'm going to have a good time answering this question. Now, before we go straight into the cooking and the answering of the question, I want to introduce you to my ingredients. Okay, in no particular order. So I have my rice. Okay, I'm cooking a very big pot of rice today. I'm cooking special fried rice. Okay, I'm going to be using scrambled eggs as well. So here are my eggs. I have some eggs here. Then, okay, my chicken, I've got some chicken here. I'm also going to be using turkey. Okay, I'm doing a combination of chicken and turkey. The stock, when you combine both of them, it's usually so delicious. And I have green peas here. Okay, then I have atarodo. I like the taste of atarodo even in fried rice. Okay, then I've got some onions here. I've got some giant carrots. I've got sweet corn. I've got some green peppers. They call them bell peppers. I've got garlic. I've got ginger. Then I've got some spices. I've got nutmegs. I've got chicken seasoning. I've got fried rice spice. I've got some stock cubes. I have. I'm going to be combining different brands. So I have some more here. I've got some more here. I've got thyme and curry. Yes, I've got my sausages. Okay. Then I've got groundnut oil because it's fried rice. Yeah. So let's cook and let's just, shall we?
Let me start by saying that any relationship where you're unable to talk is already abusive. So it's important to make sure that the right to freedom of speech is exercised in your relationship without any hindrances whatsoever. Having said that, to foster a healthy relationship, healthy communication is important, and to achieve this, one must be able to differentiate between complaining and expressing of displeasure. Complaining is a joy killer, whereas expression of displeasure fosters growth in a relationship. If there's one thing I know that displeases God, it's complaining, and the Israelites suffer the consequences of their constant complaining. Let's look at the attributes of a complainer. Number 1, bitterness. This has to do with strong feelings of dislike, hatred, or resentment. Number 2, discontentment. This has to do with dissatisfaction, and a lot of the times it stems from comparison. Number 3, selfishness. This has to do with concerns for one's welfare or advantage at the expense of or in disregard of others. It's an excessive interest in oneself. Number 4, mood swings. This has to do with experiencing sudden changes in one's emotional state. Number 5, irritability. Being readily roused into annoyance, impatience, or anger. And then number 6, over-opinionated. Very certain about your beliefs and expressing your ideas very strongly and often in a way that can annoy other people. Now, those are a few attributes of a complainer, which serves as a foundation for complaining. Now, let's look at what it means to express displeasure. To express displeasure simply means to indicate that one is unhappy about something or disagrees with a decision. Number 1, it focuses on one's feelings. For example, I feel disrespected when you said that, or I felt disrespected rather when you said that. it communicates feelings. Number 2, it focuses on the specific action as opposed to the character of the offender. For example, you should have sought my consent before inviting your family, as opposed to, if you had respect for me, you would have sought my consent first. Number 3, it expresses desires without imposing. For example, I wish you would be more open to trying new things, as opposed to, you have to be more open to trying new things. Number 4, expressing displeasure addresses the issues on ground without depleting the other person's morale. And number 5, as opposed to complaining, expressing displeasure doesn't come with trigger words, that is, the deliberate intention to poke other people's emotions. Now, the act of healthy communication is the key difference here, and learning to communicate with respect and consideration for others' feelings is what differentiates between complaining and expressing displeasure. Now, in Philippians chapter 2, verse 14, verse 15, the Bible says, "Do all things without complaining and disputing, that you may become blameless and harmless children of God, without fault in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation, among whom you shine as light in the world." Now, this is so powerful. No one is perfect, and the way we learn to treat others in relationship is by expressing our displeasure and being open to them expressing their displeasures. And when things are not going right, or our partner isn't doing right by us, we have the right to speak up. However, in a respectful and considerate manner. If you find yourself being unable to express your displeasure in your relationship, you need to question yourself, your partner, and your relationship. Let me give you a personal example. When my husband and I newly got married, he told me that one of his dislikes was expressing my displeasure right after he expresses his. So whenever he came up with an issue, I wasn't supposed to bring up mine as well. Meanwhile, this wasn't how I understood communication to be. I felt this was very one-sided, and soon I realized that the communication in our marriage was faulty. I wasn't getting to express my displeasure. I was just holding everything in. There was no growth, no change in our marriage. I was always feeling shortchanged and dissatisfied with a number of things, but wasn't given the opportunity to express them. It later dawned on me that my husband's restrictions on my freedom of expression was the problem. And the moment we fixed that, we started to see growth, more understanding, and deeper intimacy in our marriage. Now, how can I stop complaining and effectively express my displeasure? Number 1, pay attention to the differences between complaining and expressing displeasure that I listed already. Number 2, think before you talk. Your words should be intended to repair, not destroy. And number 3, make sure that you are respectful and considerate of others. In conclusion, while you're learning to differentiate between complaining and expressing displeasure, we're all a work in progress. Never stop talking. No one should stop you from expressing your displeasure or from talking about things that do not sit right with you. Communication preserves relationships. And once again, we're all a work in progress. All right, I believe this was helpful. I'll see you in the next episode. Kindly subscribe, like, and share to be a blessing to someone else. And then to send me your questions, I'll list all the avenues by which you can send them in the description corner. And also to purchase my book, same at the description corner. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.